Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tech Talk, a podcast where we are diving into latest trends, tools, and technologies in this tech-driven world. I'm your host Azimuddin, and in our inaugural episode of Tech Talk, we had Jiten Kumar, who is a business leader, and we talked about pharmaceutical industry and how to power progress through these ERPs and CRM solutions. Now, again, today it is my own particular heartfelt pleasure to have another esteemed guest with me for another contagious conversation. And he is none other than Umakant, who is a business development manager for Asia and Australia Pacific region. And today we have this particular topic to discuss that is Dynamics 365 Project Operations. And we would be also talking about the industry expertise, where and how this is just having this kind of applicationary area. And it just like we are so much aware that how it is just revolutionizing each and every industry. And I feel this great need to just overcome all those challenges that we just have, and how this Dynamics 365 Project Operations is of immense help. So if we can just give it a proper tagline, it's just like how to unlock project excellence with the help of project operations. So without much ado, let's welcome him. Hello, Vakan. So glad to have you here with us. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. Thank you, Hazim.
Yes, so we just started this initiative of Tech Talk. You are the second guest here today, and I feel so delighted. And we would be just discussing about project operations and different application areas where Dynamics 365 project operations is of immense help. But as you are a BDM, for this APAC region, so I would just want to congratulate you. To just helping to just being able to help a number of industries with their solutioning, with their open processes, and just being with them from the start to finish. So that takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of fortitude to just help them stay aligned, stay organized, and so that they can just overcome all those industrial limitations. And firstly, I would just like you to, share some of the nitty gritties of this profile BDM, that what goes along the way and what are your own daily rituals.
Again, thank you for having me and inviting me to the show. Uh, well, as your first TED talk, I did spend some time, listen to that. It was very amazing, very knowledgeable, especially your guest Jitendra. He
Yes,
gave
thank
a
you.
very good insight about Microsoft solutions and how we are helping our customers. As my role as a PDM, it's as a role suggests, it's about bringing new business to the company. However, it's not just specific or limited to just bringing the new business. It's about helping our customers. That's the very important, or the first aspect when we start talking to a new client or anyone who is reaching out to us for help or assistance regarding a solution like Microsoft. The different sets of applications, different solutions available. Of course, we'll be talking more about it. But when anyone or any client come to us or any customer come to us through our different source of or different channels of the source that they have, through which they can reach out to us, whether that can be through our websites or through our emails, phone calls, chats. So when they reach out to us, they have a at times they have an understanding of what Microsoft solution is. They know what they're coming for, but majority of the time, or a lot of cases, when customers, they don't know much about the solutions. They just understand, okay, they're having a some problems managing their back office operations or the front office operation, and they need some sort of a software or an application installed in their company so that things can be streamlined or the business operations can be streamlined for them, right? So it is very important for us, as my roles suggest. It is very important for us for understanding what their problems are, what are the challenges, what are the pain areas, what exactly they're not able to do using their existing systems, or at times they don't have a system, they're just doing things manually. So solutioning is the core part of my role. Solutioning in terms of what solution fitment, or what is the right solution for this company. So depending on whether they're coming from a manufacturing background or a manufacturing industry, or just a trade and distribution company, or a not-for-profit organizations, or any company for that matter. Every company has their different set of problems, issues that they face without having a good solution, a right solution. So when I first start speaking to any of our customers, the first interaction that we have, that's where they tell us about, okay, this is how they're currently working, this is the problem they're facing. They have a lot of systems not talking to each other, not integrated, and or probably they don't have any system. They're working everything manually through spreadsheets, excels, and that is where we need to have a proper understanding of the customer journey in terms of the applications they're using and how we can help them. So solutioning, understanding the problem, telling them, okay, how these obstacles they're facing or the problems they're facing can be uh, minimized, or can be, how we can help, how these softwares or how these application can help them in terms of getting rid of those issues, right? So understanding those problems, understanding the challenges is the first part, and I would say the most important part for as my role as a BDM in Dynamics Square, or anywhere else for that matter, for any business development manager. It's not just about selling the product. It's about, if you understand what customer is talking about, if you understand what problems they're having and why they're reaching out to you, whether they're just inquiring, whether they are very serious about having a solution, or whether they are just you know looking for a solution that they may or they may not going to have in a very, like, in like 1, 2 or 3 quarters. Maybe they're just looking for next year. But it is as important as me for a customer like who just want to implement, they know about it, or somebody who don't want to implement. So what we start with is understanding the problems. Once we have those understanding, then making my team understand. When I say my team, it's about the development team or a delivery team, or let's say a pre-sales team. Making them understand, okay, this is what customer is currently uh, using. These are the problem they're facing, and they're looking for a solution that can streamline all these issues, that can streamline their operations in a way that they don't have to do a lot of manual work, or they can get rid of all these problems they're currently facing. So like a bridge between the customers and our team, and then making them understand. And then the other set of work that comes in, wherein we sit with the customers as a team, as a unit, and with the different key stakeholders of the customer, from the customer side as well. Maybe like a production manager, or somebody who's looking at the inventory side, somebody who's looking at the manufacturing side, somebody looking at the purchase, sales, anything for that matter, right? Sitting with them, making them understand, okay, or giving them the product understanding through demos, or you know uh, they tell us, okay, this is how we are currently working, this is our core business needs, are how system is going to help them. So giving them proper demos, making them understand this is how the business is, or the application is going to help them to the business. So that's the next set of applications. So basically an end-to-end sales cycle that I manage, from starting when the customers reach out to us till the customer, we onboard the customer to our platform or to our company for Microsoft solution. So that's the overall journey. And then it's not like, as I always say, it's not like just once we are onboarded the customers, or once the sale is done, it's my job is done. No, I make sure that I remain with my customer for the time the whole development is done. By the time they're already using the systems, we are providing them support services, or maybe they're coming up with new requirements, or they're using separate solutions. They want to have those integrated with their back office operations, or CRM for that matter. So staying with them, speaking with them, getting their feedback time on time, and again, there can be good feedbacks, there can be bad feedback. So it's very important for us to, as an account manager or as a salesperson, to stay with our customers for a longer time, and making sure they're not facing any problem even after the development. Because a lot of times what happens is, company, they do the job, they do the development, company, they start working on the new system, but then once that has been done, they don't really talk more about what's next. It's not just implementing a solution, but it's also making them aware how they can fully utilize the system, telling them about what are what you're missing out on. Although you have a systems, but are you using it completely? Are you using all the features and functionalities that are available? So that is something which usually our the development team or the delivery team does. But it is, at the same time, it is very important for, as my role is to speak with my delivery team and to make them to remind them, okay, this is we need to keep on investing time with our customers in terms of giving them more understanding, or what's from the AI point of view out there. A lot of new things are coming in, so making them aware how they can fully utilize the system, how they can take advantage of those AI functionalities, and so on. So that's the overall journey, and collaborating with customers and with my team, and then creating proposals, sharing with the customers, getting their feedback time on time, changing, making those changes, and yeah, at the end, just get the sign off and start working on the development side. And once the development is done, making sure the customers are happy at the end. So that's the overall journey or overall role that I perform here at Dynamic Square.
Yes, so true. You have touched upon on so many pointers, and I feel it's just like as is and to be kind of scenario. As is, whatever particular stage the customer or client they are in, what type of limitations or challenges they are facing, and when what has to be done.
Correct.
And as you said, it just takes a very good amount of groundwork to just understand their own limitations, their anomalies, and then a proper alignment with the kind of solutioning that we would be able to provide. And I just particularly loved and cherish this point that we also evolve as a company, as our own, sole responsible person, because you are there from start to finish. So we just evolve, as you said, it's about key upgradations. It's about making them aware what new and what transformative can be done in the future as well. So I think from start to finish, it's just like they just share this kind of very comfortable bond
Hmm.
with you guys, because as a BDM, it's just like they are so comfortable. They would be so open and transparent to share each and everything.
No, definitely. That's You just can't go with a sales approach. You just can't
Yes.
speak to them because you have to sell something. Because it's not just Dynamic Square who is doing this. It's a very big ecosystem of Microsoft. There are a lot of other partners who are doing the same thing. Why somebody should, come, be with Dynamic Square, or engage with Dynamic Square for a longer run? What difference we are making for them? So that's where, from the very beginning, from the very first call that getting into with them. So they understand, okay, they're not just trying to sell me the product, they're not just trying to you know be a salesperson, but rather a consultant or consultative approach that we go with. We need to understand what are the problems, because once we have an understanding, once we make the customer understand, okay, this is what this solution can do for you, and they get the visibility of, okay, this is something I'm looking for. We try to, on the very first call, it's not something like we are just listening to them. We, with our experience, go and tell them, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what maybe you are currently having, this is what something you can do to make your life easier. So that's where the customer get confidence, or customer get uh, yeah, an understanding, yet they know about what they're talking about, right? So if we are able to do that, then the rest of the things becomes easier. It's just the process that we go through, like demos and so on. That's just the process of a sales, which eventually every company is doing. But how big impact you're making to them by telling them, their business, their industry, right? That is what we try to do.
Yes, and to gain that kind of confidence, that is a game changer. That is something that sets the different companies apart. So thank you so much for sharing this. It's really insightful. Okay, so moving forward, now let's set this basic understanding of a project. I just personally feel that this is the umbrella term, and it is just coming out with resource allocation, resource management, version control, configuration management, change control, budgeting, all that financial part comes out, with sales. And as now we see that data is the new oil.
Yeah.
With digital transformation, with operational excellence, it's about intelligent transformation and how to make the most out of these kind of digital tools. So to just limit our own different kind of challenges that these industries can face. So as we know that project operations is just going to be right there to just help a number of industries, different industry, they're just using Dynamics 365 project operations to streamline their projects from start to finish, how the proper project life cycle comes out. So I would just love to ask you, and I'm quite curious to know this thing in detail, that how this Dynamics 365 project operations is enabling this intelligent transformation, with automation, with this digitalization, all this.
Sure. Yeah. A very good question, Azim. So, you know, when we talk about projects, I've been working, or I had this opportunity to work with different project-based companies, throughout the journey so far. When I say project-based companies, it can be a construction company, it can be some services, professional companies, electrical services companies, and so on. So when we speak with them, when we get to when they share us the insight, the kind of problems that they face, it's how they're currently managing the project, because it's not just the project, it's from starting from the sales till the project executions until the moving to the finance side, so everything is connected. So at times different set of people, like sales team, they're working in some CRM systems, right? Project team, either they're working on uh, spreadsheets, or they're working on some standalone systems, like individual system which is not integrated with any other systems.
It's all
Finance,
scattered.
yeah, finance team maybe again working in a separate system. So there is no proper way of of these systems talking to each other, or there is no visibility within the departments as such, which with the project operations as such, with the project operation as a tool, it's enables those intelligence part of it, what we're talking about, right? So from the sales team to for the sales code perspective, to the project team who is working on the project, whether they have to create different work breakdown structures, they have to do the budgeting, they have to do the resource management, they have to align those resources, whether an in-house resource or an external resource or contractors they're working with. So how easily they can manage all those things, and then from there it's a finance side, which creating those invoices of the different milestones of the budget there, the different milestones of the product project they are at. Sorry about that. The project that they are at, right? So doing that becomes more seamless, having a clear visibility within the different departments. So as I said, within as my role, I have worked with different set of companies, project-based companies, and what I have seen or what I have noticed is the uh, one is the segregations or different sets of systems that they were using. So yeah, as I was saying, the Dynamics 365 Project Operations, it's basically bring down those silos or those uh, inefficiencies between these different set of people. And for a project manager, it's like a system which makes their life easier, because as I said, while I was recently speaking with a company where there were 50 project managers, and there were almost 100 or 120 projects that they run in a year. So you understand, and these projects are not just a short-term project like 1 week or 2 weeks project, a longer project, some a 3 months, 6 months, or a year project. So we, you understand what kind of how good or how vast system they need in terms of managing all those resources with different projects that are running at the same time. Different project managers need to have visibility what all resources are available, which resources currently working on which project, so that they can either bring in those project to a different project, or check their availability, or check their so while having the system project operations as a system in place, this things becomes much easier for them in terms of you know knowing the resource availability, and then talking about the budget, creating budgets and knowing the actuals. When we say budget versus actuals is a very big, very common term into the project management, right? So when you start up any project, you create a budget in the beginning, right? Now that you utilize those budget, and if you don't have a system in place, you don't have any anywhere that is, if it's just over an Excel sheet or a spreadsheet, you can't keep a track, or you have to visit every time to those spreadsheets and Excels, right, to look at, okay, how much budget we have consumed. And then it's all a lot of manual work, because you have to look at those invoices, look at those purchase invoices. Based on that, you need to understand how much you have paid to the resources, and so on, different things, right? So different set of invoices and things that you need to look at, and then you need to do okay, how much you have actually spent so far. So right, however, if you have a system in place where you have created a budget, right, against that, how much expenses we have already made, whether it's expenses on the resources, whether it's expenses on the machineries, whether it's expenses on purchasing the raw materials, or anything for that matter, right? You're keeping a track of all those expenses. Against to that, at any given point of time how much budget is actually being spent, how much is remaining, whether we need to have more budget aligned for this project, or are we on track, are we on basically to know the profitability of the project so far, whether you are in a profit, you you are in a loss. So not just the project manager, the stakeholders, everyone has a very clear visibility over the project expenses, over the project budgets, the actual that's been spent, and the resources where they are we 100% utilizing our resource, or you know uh, can we easily drag and drop our resource from one job to another job, depending on the resource experience and the kind of work that they do, because for some specific kind of job there is some niche requirements in terms of the experience, right? So and they don't have different like multiple people, so they need to like, for example, I'm a specialized into the electrical work, right? So as a worker, I'm a, it's an electrical company, construction or service based company. Now these 4 or 5 engineers that I have, they're very specialized into one sort of job. However, I know that there are 10, 20 projects are running. I need to have this specific person or these set of people into all these projects. So having a clear visibility in terms of what are their availabilities, when we can bring that resource to this project or the other project, right? So that becomes very easier for them. Correct. And as I said earlier, from the sales perspective, creating those sales code. From the finance perspective, raising the invoices based on the milestones of the project or based on the set agreed terms with the customers. So everything is for all the departments, for everyone working on those projects are totally aligned with each other, and they have a very clear understanding of what's going on.
And so true, because it just like it is just providing us the centralized or consolidated view. Because how far I just see, because it just acts as a very different limitation, that lack of visibility. When that visibility between the connected systems is not there, then that becomes a challenge. So it's just right there to streamline all these kind of projects. And as you said, when the intensity is more, when we are having n number of projects, then it becomes it becomes quite pathetic to just overcome all these kind of limitations. But it's just like a very good PM tool, project management solution, wherein we are just getting this data flow, between different units.
That's what it is. What makes the transformation intelligent, as the first
Yes.
word you said. It's bringing those different department into at one place, or having a very clear visibility in terms of what actually happening in any project at any given point in time, right? So by the way the data flows from one system to another systems, everyone is aware when I need to do my work or what I need to do. So based on that, things becomes easier for any company, rather than working, as I said, working in whether you're working in separate system or you're doing things manually. It's always a challenging for managing projects such ways for any company, whether it's a small company or a big company, right? So project operations as a system is blessing for those project manager or those companies wherein they don't know what's going on with their project, or they don't have a clear visibility, or they can't track of their existing work, or they need to have a real time view at any given point in time. So it's, as a system, it's such a blessing for those companies. And when we speak to the customers about this solution, and when we actually show them how easy it is, because application is very user friendly. It's like you're working in an Excel sheet at times, or a system that even you know a kid can actually operate, right? So it's a very user friendly system. It's if you have worked on the Excel sheet, if you have worked on any standard applications, you can easily work on Dynamics, any solution of Dynamics. So very user friendly systems, very intelligent systems, and with the advancement of AI that is coming in, there are a lot of things that is you can do it. Just you don't have to really get into the system every time. It's just with a click of buttons, it's available for you, all the reports, all the as we were talking about, the the budgets, resources. So it's becomes very easy. Well, it's becoming very easier because AI is developing, and you know a lot of new features and functionality that are coming in, that Microsoft is bringing into the AI part. So definitely it's a again, the intelligent tool and the transformative tool for the companies who are into the project based industries.
And the best part is this project tracking, progress tracking, because that is just the ongoing challenge for a PM every now and then, because whatever has been happening, the core operations they are there, but then the proper tracking of all those resources, that is a challenge.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, you said it very right that it's all getting intelligent with automation, with proper digitalization, and we are just right there to see that kind of visibility, So that is the best use case.
Yeah.
So I'm just loving the basic key functionalities of project operations. And now why not just relate it with a proper client journey? That would be quite easy to understand for people, so that they can just look out for the basic challenge solution kind of theory. So I would just love you to guide us through any kind of customer win or any client relationship that just gone along the way where project operations has helped.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, let's say, I'll give you a recent example. We've been talking to this company. It's a professional services company, engineering services company, and at the same time, there's another company which is electrical services company. These are common companies, wherein a solution like project operation really work, professional service and construction-based companies. So, when we started talking to them, or when we started telling them about the requirement, it's the very first thing that they talked about is how problematic, or how what kind of big challenge that they have with the current setup in terms of different solutions that they were using. Their financed this project team is they were working on Excel mostly, although they had a system in place. Still, well, they're still using that system, so they have a system, but they were not able to actually do what they were really looking for in terms of the project deliveries, whether that's a project tracking, whether that's resourcing alignment, or one is what's quite older system. Second, it's not been upgraded with time. So, and then they were using a finance system which is again not integrated with the existing the operation systems, or the project management system they were using, and the sales team were using a separate system altogether. So it's like a different set of systems. Everyone is working in silos. No one has any idea what's going on. So how we have helped them in terms of making things easier by implementing the project operations as a solution for the company. uh, Now they're able to track everything, in terms of the project's visibility, real time visibility, aligning those resources are filling their timesheets, expenses, getting that paid, by having a visibility in terms of how much time a resource is spending on which projects, so they have an idea, not just from the payment perspective, but having the resource, are we completely using the bandwidth of a resource, the kind of time they have commit to the company, are they actually working that time on any of the project or not, right? So they have a very clear view in terms of uh, you know what's going on. So the client came us because they were scaling rapidly. There were a lot of projects that they were initially it was 5-10 projects, but then they moved to 20-30 projects a month, or a year or so, right? So with that scale, they were not able to use the older system. It's very hectic for them. If it's just 4, 5, 10 projects they were doing, it would have still been easier. Of course, there were a lot of problems, manual things, but still, company, when they scale, then they think of spending more on the automations, or they think of getting new system in place. Otherwise, it's whatever they have, whatever kind of system they've been using since beginning, they try to utilize that, because of course it is a capital expenditure for any company to get a new solution, or to have a new system in place. And not just a expense, but rather, users get so confident, or so comfortable, using a system, that they think, or they believe that changing the system uh, is not going to helpful. They will have to spend a lot of time in learning those solutions. They will
And
have to
again, they have to train the employees.
exactly.
They are so resistant to change.
And that is what we talk to them, training. That's what they say. We have been using this solution from last 8 years, 10 years, something like that. And now, how efficient it will be for the users in terms of getting them trained, or how easy it will be, because we believe our users are, they're very much comfortable using the same systems, right? So our training structure in terms of, firstly, the system is very user friendly. As I always say, it's when users actually start looking at the system, do 1 or 2 transactions, or start exploring the solution, It's very easy. Just, everything is right there based on your roles. The systems can be configured for a project manager. It's been configured for a resource. It can be configured that way for a CEO or a CFO. It can be configured for what they want to view, right? So it's very firstly, the system will be configured based on their roles and responsibilities. Second, the system is very easy to use. It's a very user friendly system. So, and when we actually gave them the demo, they were so confident and they were so comfortable in terms of knowing, okay, this is not something, they have to spend a lot of time in learning the system itself. It's very easy to use. And with our development plan that we share, training, users train, the key users training, admin training is a very essential, the important part of it, right? So 4, 5, 10 days we actually spend with users, with different department per se, for let's say for project management you're talking about, with the different project managers or the resources who are actually going to work on the systems, or the people who are going to fill the timesheets, right? The resources going to fill the timesheets. So we train them properly in terms of how you're actually going to do the things. So, but once they get that confidence, it becomes very easier. So that is what exactly happened with this company as well. So when we started talking about it, firstly their problem was working in silos. And when we actually showcase them, with the real time visibility of the product, how it is going to help them, it they were surprised. They were flattered just by knowing, okay, we didn't know, how these solutions, it's so easy, while they were working in a way that, in an old fashioned way, that, everyone is working separately. There is no visibility. CEO have to, or CFO or a manager has to go to 3 different places to have a, different set of information, right? Yes. Let's say from the sales team, from the project team, from the finance team, or anyone else. But when we showed them how, because CEO and CFO was also part of our meetings and the demos. Okay. Fortunately, usually it really doesn't happen, but they were so happy to know, okay, it just with click of buttons they can view the reports, overall reports, and end to end project life cycle, at what stage we are at. Again, budgets, how much budgets we have spent, how much budget we have remaining, do we need to allocate more budget in a project, where our resources are we utilizing our resources fully, are the timesheets coming in in a proper way, are we paying our resources properly, and so on. So things are very streamlined for them. So, that's my recent experience working with one of the project-based company. And uh, although there are a few more companies where we are already implementing, and while we give them the examples of our previous customers, and not just that, we in fact make sure that we make them talk to our customers, who use those projects, who use those products, who are using the project service, or project operations as a system, right? So while they tell them how efficiently they're using it, how easy that it has made their life post they started working in the new systems, our customers get that confidence that yes, it is going to help them in the longer run. And especially for companies who are growing, who are working into 2, 3, 4 projects, now they started working on 10, 12, 20 projects. It is not recommended to have things do manually, or to work in a way that nobody knows what's going on the other side,
It's
right?
very troublesome.
Exactly. So, that's where this system is helping our customers. And I've been lucky enough to, to speak to those customers, to help those customers in terms of, uh, you know, meeting their requirements and making their life easier.
Yes, that's so great to hear, because it's just like you have to go beyond the point, for their own good service delivery. And that is something that acts as a wow factor in our customer service and to retain the customer.
That's the overall thing, in terms of, because when you talk about a project, it's about tracking. Yes. Right? That's the core job, tracking the projects, having a clear visibility. And with a solution like project operations, dynamics by project operations, everything, from starting a project, creating a project into the system, till the completion of the projects, all the activities that you can think of, all the activities that you can talk about, can be done in the system, and very easily, with different set of roles of the people who are going to work on the systems, and with different set of departments that who are going to view those systems or take advantage of those systems, it's becomes it's like a, a blessing again. It's like they don't really have to do a lot of manual stuff, and nobody really wants to do that manual stuff, right? While they're coming into the job, spending 8 hours or 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours at a job, and while what kind of work that they were earlier doing in those 7 8 hours, now they can do it in just in a lesser time, let's say 4 5 hours in a day. So it's a save of time, and they can actually spend that time on some other productive work, right? So that is the idea for any applications, and project operation is one of those applications which is helping the project managers and the project based companies in a very efficiently way, and then making sure we as a company make sure that they utilize the product completely, and whatever challenges that they were facing, and they get rid of that at the end.
Yes, so true. And even the best part is scalability. So whenever it just comes out as a challenge, that whenever they are just ready to scale up, then they need to think about these kind of solutions, ERPs and CRMs, because that's how they would be powering their own progress in that way. And it's just like multifaceted industry expertise is there, in this, be it electrical, construction, professional services, all these services where they are having plenty of projects.
Yeah.
So that becomes a very tormenting job, everyday job, when we have n number of employees, n number of resources, the tracking is coming out, and all these shades of a project. Project, we just simply say a word project, but it is just having n number of things.
Correct. So yeah, that's totally right. You said in terms of scalability. That's when they actually start thinking about a solution. Uh, so far, whatever way the companies they were working, or any company who now looking for a solution been working, is because that's they did not realize, or they did not feel to have a solution, or to spend money on a solution, like not just a Microsoft, but any solution for that matter. But when they actually realize, yeah, this is the time, because things are we're not able to keep a track of the projects, because if they're not able to deliver to their customers, right? They are project based companies, they need to deliver, whether it's a construction. Correct. So the timely delivery of the services, and how they can do it if they have a clear visibility, right? And the project operations as a solutions gives you the visibility, a real time visibility rather, I should say. Whenever you want to know, whether it's for your internal thing in terms of the stages of the project, the budgets that they have spent, or the budget they actually allocated, or whether from the customer's perspective, how much project we have delivered, how much remaining, are there any changes that the client has asked for, to how do we build in those into the systems, into the ongoing projects, and different sort of customer requirement that's coming in. So you can keep on changing those project anytime during the project executions. Yeah, so it is somehow it's like a help for them internally and externally both.
So I have been just loving the flow of session. We just covered all the prerequisites and the basic core vitals of project operations. Now, in the end, I would just, I'm quite curious to know that, AI is the game changer these days. AI, automation, all of these things, the digital transformation. So now let's correlate this with PO, project operations. So if we talk about this future trend, so how you see like where this is just going to be landing, automation and AI, what could be the biggest opportunities in the next few years?
So as AI is advancing. Companies are spending millions and billions of dollars in terms of getting the best out of AI for their customers, right? So in terms of putting the best efforts, and making the users' life easy. Specifically, if we talk about project operations, in the next few years, where I see AI is going to help companies. One is the predictive insight. Second is the intelligent resource allocation, and the process automations overall. When we talk about the predictive insight, we talk about for the project managers, how easy or how intelligently it is going to be for them to do any sort of risk mitigations, to planning their resources in well advance, and not relying on any sort of manual work, but rather proactively identifying any risk, like Are they going over budgets? Are the project life cycle or the time they're spending on the project, is it based on what they actually predicted in advance, or which they actually planned in advance? And before anything happens, any unfortunate thing happens for the project, and when I say unfortunate, it's more like overrunning on the cost or delaying of the projects. So then they, with AI predictive insight, they will know beforehand, right? AI will let them know, okay, this is, or give them a proper visibility beforehand, in terms of, okay, based on the cost you have incurred, you're going to overrun. Or not just you know because AI also learn about the overall processes, your projects, how you're doing it. Keeps on learning from your previous projects, because once you started working on the systems and AI is there, like any other processes, so you have a very clear visibility with AI being there, AI advancement, and you of course can mitigate those risk areas. Secondly, the intelligent allocations, or intelligent resource allocation, rather I should say, based on the resource availability, specific skill sets of the people, of the resources that are there, where we have to assign those resources, to which job we have to assign those resources. You just have to tell the system, describe about a resource, what are the skill sets, what projects they have worked on before, what are our future projects which we have to work on the next 1 year or so. And based on those, the skill sets and the project, the user experience or the resource experience, it's going to automatically assign the jobs based on their availability, what all days the that resource is available to work on any specific projects, what days they are on not available. So based on their availability, based on their skill set, based on their experience, the system will automatically assign those jobs, assign those work to towards those projects. So that's one of the biggest advantages that you're going to see over the years, using AI into these applications. Lastly, we talked about the process automations. Of course, we've been talking about it, like automations, in terms of, will continue in streamlining overall. Of course, with the existing systems, everything is streamlined, but in a better way. It's going to streamline in terms of your proper timesheet approval, in terms of your expenses management, in terms of your expenses approvals from the resources that they spend on doing their job. So these things will be automated. It is at a level being already automated, in the systems. However, having AI advancement, having those AI features available, those work which currently the approvers need to do, it will be done automatically, right? Using those AI, you just have to do command your systems. That's all you need to do, and the AI will do the job at the back end. So these three things, I would say, it's going to be the game changer from the AI perspective. At Dynamic Square, we have already seen the difference, with our existing customers, with the systems they're using. Not just the project operations, we talk about the Business Central as a solution, or we talk about the CRM. AI Copilot functionality is a built-in features on these systems, the Business Central system, like for example, Business Central, right? So the kind of work which companies were doing, spending hours doing that job, now with the AI advancements, AI availability, within the systems as a standalone or standard feature, these lot of things are getting done by its own. It's They just command it, and the whatever they're looking for, or whatever features, or whatever functionalities that they need from the system, it's getting it done, or the whatever work they're looking for, getting it done on its own using the AI functionality. So that's what it is. In short, AI, usually this happens, like, that comes into the mind, will AI is going to replace these project managers job, or no? The answer is no. It's not going to replace. It's rather going to help those project managers to, to track the projects, to know the visibility, and to work on something which they see as a risk, mitigate that risk in advance. So as I was saying that, AI, as we're talking about AI, is AI going to replace jobs for the project managers? The answer is no. It's a helpful tool, or it's going to help the project managers in a way that, if they see any risk, they can mitigate that in advance. If they want to get the visibility, they have it right then and there. You end up, within the systems, but using AI, it's going to be a game changer for them. So definitely, as we were talking since beginning, AI is a tool, is a functionality that's available in the tool that is going to help the users, that is going to help the resources, that is going to help the project managers to do wonders in their job.
Exactly. And thank you so much for summarizing these three capabilities. I am sure that these three would be the highlight of this episode. And we talked about RMM, risk mitigation, monitoring and management, AI. And as you said, it is acting as an enabler. It is not a replacement because we have to be just turning out. It has been such a controversial question of all times. But if we would be seeing, if industries, if these kind of different organizations, they would be seeing it as an enabler, then the results would be amazing. But so this just brings me to the end of this particular episode. I would say from the start to finish, I was just able to connect. I really loved your, the well curated statements that you said. It was quite, concise as well. It was quite up to the mark related to the technology that we discussed with example illustrations as well. So thank you so much. And it has been such a lovely gesture from your side that you have been on the show.
Thank you so much, Azim. It's been a pleasure coming here and sharing insight on project operations specifically, because as I was saying earlier, not a lot of companies are were using such solutions, but they're looking at it now.
Yes.
Project operations, and for any professional service in or industry specific, who are into the professional services, doing any construction job or any other work, it is a game changer for them. They should be really looking for solutions like project operations, Dynamics 365 Project Operations, because it is, of course, there are a lot of the systems available, but to have everything in one place, one of the best solutions that you can look for. So thank you again for having me in the show, and I hope to speak to you soon on some other topics.
Surely, because this is a vast ecosystem that we have, Microsoft ERPs and CRM solutions. And I hope you people also like this conversation. And for more such videos, for more such technology savvy content that we may say so, just stay tuned and God bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you.